way too much. Got some shit to say too much. Never clean my cage, I must. Such a fuss, boy don't cuss. I'ma fucking take your trust. Give to God and make it rust. Time to bust, mustn't lust. Gotta leave you in the dust. Live a life that's unjust. Into hell you will be thrust. Satan is your just reward. You don't get a fucking sword. All of time you won't be bored. Only flames, just rest assured. When my warnings you've ignored, you'll be punished by the Lord. Cast aside you are abhorred. Grace will never be restored. Jump, 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 motherfucker. Jump, 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 motherfucker. Just jump, 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 motherfucker. Jump, 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 motherfucker. Just jump. Jump, 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 motherfucker. Jump, 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 motherfucker. Just jump. Jump, 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 motherfucker. Jump, 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 jump.
I'm not afraid of him. And I don't feel loyalty in a way they may, because I believe that loyalty is a two-way street. And I don't see the benefit in pledging loyalty to somebody who would never pledge loyalty to me. So, I'm unhindered by either of those considerations. But much more importantly, that's not enough of a reason to be doing this. It simply means that I'm free to. The reason to do it is because of the incredible, seemingly out of control crisis we're in the midst of.
Okay,
I'm not afraid of him.
Okay, so we're finally going live. Yay! Hi. So, the stream tonight is gonna be about Mary El's Trump's newest book. Now, I did really want to speak to everyone about this because it's an insanely good book, and I know some people will never read it. And by the reactions of what's going on Twitter, I've noticed no one has read it. Even when are people complimenting her, being like, "Yeah, you've spoken out against Trump." No one has actually read it. Even though she has sold over 1 million copies already. So that's why we're going to discuss it tonight, because I know people are just too lazy to do that. So, yay! So, I'm going to start this off with the book. Okay. The book is primarily centered around her father and basically how the Trump family works and how it slowly turned what we see as Trump today into the monster we have. There is no other way to describe it. So, before we talk about Trump, we have to talk about his father. Let me have a mouse. But before we can talk about Fred Trump, we have to talk about his mother and his father. So she goes a little bit about this. This is, believe it or not, Trump's grandfather. He primarily revolved around Germany, and he made success off of renting and, believe it or not, brothels, which I thought was so fascinating because, believe it or not, his wife is the biggest prude ever. She's, was it Victorian? And Victorians just suck. They suck.
Well, I mean, are they from the Victorian era?
What was the Victorian era, actually?
I don't know. 1902. No, that's not the Victorian era. That's not even close.
No.
Not even close. Okay. Anyway.
You're nowhere near the mic, by the way. Okay. Yeah, no, Victorians suck. So, this woman, I will just say right now, is
It's not Victorian.
but she acts like it.
I know, but it's
She acts like a Victorian. She's a complete prude. Okay, let's go with that. She's a prude. So when you
Looks like a cunt.
yeah, so like she was the type, which I thought was such a weird description of her. So when they discuss her in the book, she was described, if any child brought up like pregnancy, like how her baby's born, instead of going with the typical lie, they she would have them the second half of the 19th century would be Victorian. So that is correct then.
No, that's
Oh.
the beginning of the 20th century.
No, I don't. She's older than that.
Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter.
That's just the photo.
I'm just saying, it's just confusing. It's
Yes. Thank you,
using
Mickey.
the word Victorian makes it confusing.
Fine. Like if it would brought up babies, like she would just leave the room. She's like, no, we're not even discussing how babies are born.
Yeah.
She was considered a complete prude. Trump's wife, like, she was such a snob that she would wear white gloves whenever she would visit her son, to the whole purpose of putting her hands to her, and if there was dirt on them, basically to give shit. She was that type of person. Now,
Okay, fine. She is from the Victorian era, whatever. And you know what?
Thank you,
Can I just say, women from back then? Look, people from back then were garbage in general. But dude, I hate bitches like this. This just prudish, this fucking cunty. Like, oh, we can't talk about it. We have to be all prim and proper, and we can't have
your
it.
cleaning isn't good enough. I need to like be a twat about it.
Oh yeah, the white glove thing.
Yeah, the white glove was tacky.
She actually did that, yo.
Sounds like a great grandmother. Oh, dude. So I don't remember how many kids she had. Either way, the biggest one was Fred Trump, which is Donald Trump's father. Now, believe it or not, his father died when he was 13. And they said they had some struggles. Now, they did not have struggles of people back then. Because when his father died, I believe it was like 1813, 1818, roughly in that time range, which I think it was before the Great Depression. But they never actually had proper struggles like you see people today. The struggles, like, he ended up inheriting what would be equivalent to $300,000 of inheritance, which is a lot of money. So him and, believe it or not, his mother worked together. He originally started off with garages and moved his way up and decided to go into realty and rentals. So we can pull... Nope, that's his father. This lovely man. Which I want to point out... Doesn't he look like Fred Gomez? Not Fred, sorry. What is it? Adam Gomez? Do you know who I'm talking about?
From what?
Here, I'll pull him up. You'll know who. Adam Gomez. Which is like the most ironic thing in the world. God damn it.
Can't type, yeah.
I cannot, because there's a cord in the way.
Yeah, he does kind of look like him.
He looks like him, which I think is the most hilarious thing. Because if anyone watched that like shows and movies, he was the worst businessman humanly possible. Like, he was famous for being like, every single like company he invested always went downhill, which I think was ironic.
So he was more like Donald Trump.
Yeah, he was really like Donald, except he loved living life, which I thought was great. Like, he always did skydiving, sword fighting. Like, he was completely opposite of Fred Trump, which I thought was just ironic.
Fuck Fred Trump, dude.
Yeah. So, Fred Trump, so moving a little forward, Trump had, and I have a picture of them all, 5 kids. Now, the middle one is who we'll deem Freddie, and he is the oldest. He is the one that people have already discussed about, who basically died alone in a hospital while Donald Trump went to the movies. Now, I can't really tell who the others are. I don't think
that's Donald.
Yeah, I think that's Donald.
Looks like a little shit, yeah.
It does. There's Elizabeth, Mary, and then I think Robert's the last one. And so
the one no one remembers.
Yeah, no one remembers at all. He ends up working for like Donald's like casinos, believe it or not, though. So they don't really go into great detail. The only 2 that really go, or 3 I should they go into, is Marianne. They go into, of course, Freddie, because it's Mary's father, and of course Donald. So what ends up happening in the very, very early developments of Trump, his mother, which I'll pull her up so you can see what she looks like. There you go. She's actually quite attractive. So she married Freddie. Now, ironically, she came from nothing as well. She came from absolute nothing. She actually worked as a maid, and it was such a weird change for her when she got to marry Fred Trump, because instead of being the help, she had help helping her. Now, she did have a ton of health issues. She didn't say the word septic, but it sounded like she went septic, where she had a miscarriage, and they ended up having to remove her womb. And the oldest child, I believe it was Marianne. Let me make sure. Nope. I gotta remember which one it was. Ended up finding her fainted on the ground and bleeding basically from her crotch. And I love this, how like heartless Fred Trump is. Basically, he calls the hospital. He has, because he donates so many money to the hospital, like the best of the best there. And he basically tells his daughter, being like, your mother's probably gonna die. Go to school tomorrow. I'll let you know if anything changes.
Damn, yeah.
Like the most heartless shit ever. Like, I just love that. I was like, where it's like, your mom's not gonna die. Go to school. Like,
what a dick, yo.
I feel the love already. So she ends up surviving. They end up taking out her womb, and they end up putting her on estrogen, which caused her to have, I think it's I cannot say that word, osteoporosis. I think I said that correctly, which is basically the deterioration of your bones. She's very weak. So like a fall for her could break like her hip, unlike a normal person. And she did this very early on. You know what I mean? Okay, so as we kept going into this, so she ends up in the hospital. She ends up being in the hospital for a very long time. Well, surprisingly enough, this is when Trump was at an age where that's when his family needs to be involved with him the most. And Fred, being Fred Trump, did not like children. He didn't want to be involved with his family. He was a workaholic. That's all he did. All he did was work, work, work. He was described to going 6 days a week, 12 hours a day type of guy. Everything was about money. So most of the family was fine with this. And except, so since everyone was kind of fine, but the lack of human interaction that Trump had, this kind of started to develop into probably what he was most known for being kind of the selfish brat. Oh, that looks better. So while this is all going on, Fred is expecting his oldest kid to be the one that takes over the business, okay? Freddie! Which I love this, by the way, guys. Freddie, the little guy in the middle, not really little, he's actually was quite tall. They described him as 6'2". Freddie, like, was not the kid that he actually wanted to be like he was. Like, he would be constantly screamed and yelled at. He wasn't like Trump was. Like, he was kind of self-preserved. He wasn't a bragger. He wasn't like Trump was. And because he wasn't like Trump, his father slowly catered more towards the way Trump's actions were. And it's like amazing, because even when Trump was a kid, like there was this moment that they described where Donald took like his youngest brother, I think that was Robert's favorite truck toy. And instead of Robert, like he kept hiding it, he kept making him cry, he kept being screamed at. And instead of like punishing Trump, the mother would never punish Trump. Her biggest line, which I hate this line, is, wait until your father gets home. Because she honestly believed the responsibility of her was to let the guys do the guy things, the women, like, she'd take care of the women.
That was very common. Well, it's very common to just be like, oh, like, your father, like, oh, you're in trouble, your father's gonna come home and beat the shit out of you.
Right? And because of stuff like that. And by the way, he would never get involved. He didn't give a shit about the kids. He was waiting until they turned 18 so he can start having them work. That was his big thing. He's like, oh, I want them to work. So, believe it, like, when Freddie was younger, like, he would have friends come over. He would hang out with people. Believe it or not, the guy actually liked to go fishing. When he was in college, he actually put in a lot of hours of flight. And it was actually quite an impressive feat, considering the time period, because the only way you got trained in flying was going up in the air. There was no simulations like we have today. And mind you, there was money there that allowed him to do this, because when they described the classes, I think there was like 30 or 25, and basically 5 were from each sect of the Army, and then 5 were outside of the Army. So it was like there was some from Air Force, Army, Marines, Navy. So he clocked hour after hour after hour trying to go to flights. Now, I think anyone here, especially in the chat, cannot say, like, getting a pilot's license is not a bad idea. And career-wise, it's not that bad at all. So, there was, once Freddie was old enough to start working for his father, there was this breaking point for him. And basically what ended up happening was he decided to buy new windows for one of the apartments that Fred had invested in. And Fred screamed and yelled at him in front of his coworkers and everyone. Basically being like, what the fuck are you doing, you stupid idiot? You could have just put a new paint on them. You're wasting my money. And when that happened, this was like a breaking point for him, where he's like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here. So by this point, he ends up having a wife, and not Mary, the writer of the book, is born yet, but her brother is born at this point. And he decides to leave his father's job and go and become a pilot. And believe it or not, like, within 6 months he got promoted. He did very successful. But his father, being who he was, Fred wanted him to live the life that Fred wanted. He did not want him to be anything except a businessman, a successful businessman, and doing whatever the hell Fred wanted of him. So during that time, he would not stop haggling him. He sent letters, he called him, he harassed him. He basically called him the bus driver of the sky. Yeah. And again, like, I was like, okay, how much does a pilot today make? They make over $100,000 a year. Like, you're not doing bad for yourself. Like, you can easily survive off of that.
No, it doesn't matter. It's disgusting. It's frivolous and fanciful. Flying around in the sky like a pansy, like a fairy. Wait, we got better things for you to do. You're gonna be here working for the business, making money for your old man. You're gonna be making me proud. Instead, you're wasting your time flying around like a fool. Makes me sick. Makes me sick, boy. I wish you weren't even my son.
So,
yeah, dude.
While this is happening, going a little back, Trump was being terrible in school. Like, who would have ever guessed? Trump, being the selfish brat he is, ends up getting actually put in military school, which I was surprised by, because you think apparently there were stories that Trump got his ass handed to him, which whoever got to beat the shit out of Trump, I give you props, and I'm a little jealous, actually.
Dude, I don't know if you can say that, but imagine being one of those people that beat the shit out of Trump and is sitting there right now being like, they see this big orange buffoon on the television that's supposed to be that commander-in-chief, and it's just like, yeah, well, I beat the shit out of that guy once. Oh. Actually, let's be honest. He was probably got the shit beat out of him by some fucking boot-licking redneck fucking right-wing motherfucker who's standing there now being like, hell yeah, I'm proud that this foot was in Trump's ass, and I wish I could meet Trump so I could apologize. I could kiss his ass instead of kick it.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You just know, dude. There's someone out there.
Oh yeah. No, again, he actually somehow went through all military school. There wasn't a lot of details behind it. Now, it was kind of funny because, as I said, Freddie Trump, the youngest or the oldest of the brothers, actually enjoyed fishing, and he was like, you have to take your brother with you. So he ends up inviting him to go fishing with his friends, and like Trump being Trump, like he's like because he's trying to do the fishing thing, and I love it because he throws a fucking bitch fit. They're like, he's like, I know what I'm doing, and his friends are like, well, you're doing it wrong, and he just like throws the pole on the ground and just walks away, and they thought like he was so thick-skulled that he would literally just walk off the boat from how angry he was. Like, he just wouldn't pay attention, just go off the boat. Now, ironically, as time kept going up, Trump was kind of the feel of the son that was the most favored. Fred loved Trump, which I thought was the most ironic because he was the dumbest of all of them. Like,
well, yeah. Look, parents like that want to control their kids and have their kids grow up a certain way, they love the dumb kid because the dumb kid is the easiest to fucking control. The dumb kid doesn't talk back. The dumb kid doesn't fucking question you. The dumb kid fucking closes their mouth and shakes their fucking head, nods their empty fucking head and goes, yes, daddy, yes, you want me to kill all the Jews, daddy? Okay, you told me to do it, so I'm gonna do it. Like, you can literally tell, like, the dumb kid, especially if you're a dad like this, that's, like, rich and powerful and, like, yeah, look at me, I'm successful. You know, you can tell your kid to do fucking anything, dude. If your kid is dumb enough. Of course Trump was the fucking favorite. It's not even fucking surprising.
And that's the funny...
Trump is still the dumb one, by the way.
Oh, he is. Like, his sister that became the justice, or what was it? She was like an attorney. No, she was, I forgot what she was. She did something in law. Ended up doing all his homework every single time. He never did his own homework. What a shocker. Now, there was this moment that was talked about when they were younger, where like Trump was being a dick, and Freddie took a bowl of mashed potatoes and plopped it on Trump's head because he was being a dick. And that apparently was what's described as the breaking point where Trump decided he would never be humiliated again. Because he always looked at Freddie as the lesser. To this day, he looks at everyone as a lesser to him, and that's all thanks to Fred. Now, as you're going through the book, you don't really think like, well, it just sounds like Fred is like this neglectful asshole. Well, he would never once tell any of his kids a good job. Like, to this day, his kids still want the praisal of their dead father, except for Trump, because you know what? He would always praise Trump. So Freddie was doing successful, but through all the harassment from his lovely father, he ended up becoming a bit of an alcoholic, and it weighed on him and weighed on him and weighed on him, and he ended up losing his job, and because of the issue of his alcoholism, and he was forced to actually go back to working for Fred Trump. And this ended up weighing on him more and more. And this is where his health started to slowly decline. Now, Trump was officially, once he was done with high school, he went to college. Now, again, Trump's a freaking moron. And apparently he actually paid for someone to take his tests in college because he was dumb as rocks. Everyone agreed he was dumb as rocks. And like his own mother admitted when he got sent off to military school, it was like one of the happiest moments for her because she was so sick of his shit. Well, once he stopped being like this playboy type of guy that kept going around, and finishing his college, he decided to start working for his father. Now, we've seen how Trump acts. Trump acts like this arrogant, in your face, I know I'm right, even when he's wrong. Like, I think one of the most telling moments was when there was a hurricane and he was like, it's gonna hit Georgia, and he literally adds the line.
Louisiana.
Oh, it was Louisiana.
Yeah, he said Louisiana is gonna be completely underwater, and they're like, actually, Mr. President, no, it's not going near Louisiana. It's like, yes, it is, and he like fills it in with a fucking Sharpie, dude. Yeah, hashtag Sharpiegate, yo. Never forget, dude. Never forget Sharpiegate. Never forget that our president is so fucking arrogant and so fucking unable to admit that he's wrong that he will take a Sharpie and fucking alter a fucking a weather map in a really obvious way just to hide the fact that he's fucking wrong about something. A man that can't fucking admit, say, yep, I was wrong. You know what? Like, you know, and that's the thing. If Trump was actually an intelligent person, he'd realize that actually humility is a really attractive trait, and when someone is able to admit, like, yup, I fucked up, yeah, I was wrong, you know, that would actually make people like him more. That would make him more endearing to people. Like, yeah, he's actually fucking honest. But what am I saying? We ain't getting any of that.
Oh god, no.
Yeah, dude, hashtag Sharpiegate.
So because his father really like enjoyed the way Trump was able to do something that he couldn't. Like, apparently Fred attempted to take a talking class and he just couldn't. Like, pull him back up. Fred, like, was socially kind of awkward a little bit. Even though he was very successful, he wasn't able to talk to a crowd. He can go one-on-one, but he couldn't do it in, like, a massive group like Trump could. So his appeal in Trump got more and more. Like, Trump ended up actually working for him while he was in college. He got nothing but good vibes from him. There was a line that, like, his own father said to him that made reports where it was like, my son is one of the most intelligent men. Everything he touches turns to gold. And of course, that reality is not the case.
He was talking about Donnie?
Yeah.
Dude, has anyone ever tested Fred to Trump for fucking dementia around that time?
Well, he actually ends up getting dementia.
Maybe that might explain. Yeah, see,
he does.
I'm just saying, maybe the symptoms came on a little earlier than some people thought. You know what? Can I just say? And look, I get it. I'm not trying to attack old people, but there are a lot of old people out there who will not admit that they have signs of dementia and are like, oh no, my memory is perfect. And, oh no, I know exactly. I'm sharp as a tack. And then not. Okay, so you know what? Yeah, maybe a lot of people you think that they have like dementia when they're 80. They actually had it when they were 60. You just didn't notice because they were good at fucking hiding it and bullshitting you. Someone tells me someone like this is really good at bullshitting people.
Oh my god. So as time kind of continues, he ends up praising more and more Trump, and believe it or not, Freddie, the eldest son, like, they actually tag team bullied him all the time. And it would go as far as, like, if Freddie just wanted to go, like, boating on the weekends, they would both attack him. Like, and Trump was the type to tag on and try to make his brother feel worse and worse.
Yeah, that shit's the fucking worst, dude. Can I just say, there's nothing more scummy than, like, you know, like... Can I just say, look, if you don't want to, like, be in solidarity with your siblings, that's fine. But, dude, if your fucking parent is being a fucking asshole and is, like, berating your sibling, why you gotta tag on, dude? Like, why you gotta pile on? Does it make you feel good? Does it make your pee-pee hard, Donnie? Does it make you feel like a big man?
Oh,
ooh,
it does.
me and Daddy attacking Freddy together. You know what? He's the oldest, but he's also a fucking piece of shit. You know? Oh, wow. I bet you feel real fucking superior, motherfucker. Fucking piece of shit, dude. I hate this family. I already hate this fucking family.
Oh, yeah. No. Oh, dude, they were...
This family is all too fucking familiar to me, dude. This kind of bullshit.
And see, what Fred ended up slowly doing over time is he made Freddie the example. You do not act like Freddie. You do not be weak like Freddie. You do not become like Freddie.
That's the fucking worst.
You should be like Trump. You should be like loudmouth like Trump.
It's bad enough when a parent holds up one child as the example of, you all need to be more like this kid, you know, but that's bad enough. But then being like, and don't be like this kid because he's a fucking loser. Don't be like your brother. You know, he's a waste of space, yo. Like,
yeah.
Imagine the fucking self-esteem issue. Like, this is what I'm talking about, guys. This sort of shit has been too fucking normalized for too long. Fucking people have been, fucking parents, fucking families have been able to get away with this type of thing. And it's not just people with money. It's just been fucking normalized for so fucking long. This idea, like, yeah, it's okay to, like, hey, what? He's just being tough on his kids, yo. He's just a strict father, you know? He's tough but fair. No, dude, there's nothing fair about this. There's nothing fucking decent about this fucking human being, dude.
So I believe it was Elizabeth. I can pull that up to make sure when I pull up the book. But, so it was the daughter that ended up becoming, a part of the Justice Court. So she was, like, in an abusive relationship, and her husband would not get a job, and they were doing, like, so terribly that she was living off of quarters. And keep in mind, her father was Fred Trump, and in Fred's mind, oh, you got married, you're not my responsibility, go fuck off. So...
Yeah, I already sold you off to another man. You know, he's supposed to take care of you. You ain't my responsibility no more. I got 7 oxen and a mule for you, bitch. Get out of here.
And so when he kind of like, and mind you, wasn't when she finished her degree in law. Keep in mind, this was before then. She already had a kid. And what she would do is she would just go to her mother and be like, can I have change for laundry? And every time she was asking for that change was actually for food. Like, that's how ingrained Fred had it, where it was like, no, you do not ask for help. I don't care, you do not ask for help. So, it gets to the point where Fred has finally decided to, like, after 2 years of Trump being in the Trump management for all the apartments he owned, he makes him president. Now, the only successful business parts that Trump ever had, I know the big one was Trump Tower. Believe it or not, Trump never did that. It was actually Fred the entire time. Fred was just using Trump as the main picture because Trump was actually the key for him to get into Manhattan. He wanted to get into Manhattan specifically. So by manipulating this, he just used Trump as the face, but it was actually all him doing the money part. Now, didn't mean to do that. When finally the opportunity comes up and Trump is able to actually do his own first big gig, which was, believe it or not, the casinos, it actually goes into why the casinos failed.
But before we get to that, can I just point out, I just noticed something, dude. Elizabeth Christ Trump?
Yeah, that was his mother.
Her middle name was Christ?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Damn, okay.
They weren't actually religious. Believe it or not, just to let you guys kind of know, like, he did have, like, this one preacher, but the preacher was, like, a guy that was like, as long as you're positive, you'll be successful.
Yeah, dude.
Well, like,
sounds like the kind of preacher he'd be into.
Yeah. So, what was it? So, okay, he finally gets, his casinos. Now, Trump... I was like, how do you feel at a casino? Like, how do you feel at, like, casinos?
I don't know, dude. It sounds like a cash cow to me, yo. Literally a building that you open it up, people come in, give you their money, and they leave, dude. Every once in a while, you gotta give a little bit of it back, but if you do it right, you know, every casino makes way more money than they have to pay out.
Oh, yeah.
Unless their machines are, like, you know, actually fair, which none of them are.
Oh my god, no. So what ends up happening is, what was it in New Jersey? Is it Atlanta? We got in this argument last time.
Atlanta is New Jersey.
Yeah, Atlanta.
No, Atlantic City.
Atlantic City. So they finally legalize gambling. So he decides to put not just one there, 3. And when he built his third one, his other 2 weren't doing the greatest.
No, you said he built one. It was doing well,
yeah.
And so he thought, "Oh, this is going great. I'm going to build a second one in the same city."
And then a third one.
And yeah, and then and then for some reason the first one's not doing as good now, and people are going to the second one. It's like, you know what? It's fine. I'm going to build a third one. It sounds perfect. You know what? 2. What's better than 1 casino? 2. What's better than 2? 3. All within a reasonably short drive of each other. So they're very convenient. After you empty out your bank account in one of my casinos, you can empty out your wife's in my other one, and then take out a bunch of loans on your children's names and give that to my third one.
Oh my god.
Like what does he think, dude? Like, what is it like? How is that gonna like literally? I'm sorry. Like you want to build more casinos? Okay, there's other cities. Go find other cities to put a fucking casino in, dude. You'd be like if he did that, he'd have been so fucking successful.
Oh yeah.
He'd have been so like put one in you put one in Atlantic City. What about put one in fucking okay, I know Vegas is full of casino. Whatever. You can find other places where it's legal. Those aren't the only 2 cities in the United States where it's legal, dude.
Oh yeah. I thought it was going to be a huge, like, cash cow. And the funny thing is, he was trying to copy, believe it or not, this was Fred's tactic. Fred got a bunch of apartments and...
Well, yeah, those are apartments, dude.
And it was also the era. Like, believe it or not, like, because it was, like, after World War II when his business really started picking up, like, he ended up giving government grants to help with these apartments because so many people were coming in. And, again, when you have an apartment, you have one apartment. You don't have 3.
Yeah, people always need places to live. Like, yeah, that makes sense. See, here's the thing that he's too dumb to realize. See, when one apartment is full, it's full, and then yeah, you need a second one and a third one, right? You put more, and you maximize your fucking income, right? But when you have a fucking casino, dude, most casinos aren't packed to the brim every day anyway, dude. Like, if it was so fucking packed that, like, they had to turn people away at the door every night and be like, nope, too many fucking people clamoring to give us all that money, go to the second casino. Yeah, it's fine, guys, we have an overflow casino, guys. It's right on the other side of town. Just go over there. That would maybe make some fucking sense, dude. But then when, like, the second one isn't doing as good, like, it's like, okay, well, this isn't working. Let's double down and add a third one. Dude, it's just so clear to me now how bad of a fucking businessman Trump is. I always suspected, and I always did want to know more about how exactly you fucking bankrupt a casino. Now I realize you do it by building 3 of them in the same fucking city. Good job. This is the man that's in charge of our country right now, ladies and gentlemen. Well, not the one you're looking at, but the one we're talking about.
Yeah. Did I actually pull up? I didn't even pull... Dude, I didn't want to see Trump's face. I see him every day. I don't want to see him now. So, as time kind of continued, Freddie's health deteriorated. His wife ended up leaving him. Now, this is, I think, the most ironic thing in the world. So, when Freddie's wife left him, she got roughly around $600 alimony. $600. And at the time that this was happening, it equaled closer to about $2,000, $2,000 to $3,000. And that's all she got. Now, want to take a wild guess how much alimony Trump's first wife got that he divorced? You want to take a guess?
$17,000.
Higher.
A year.
Higher.
Oh wait, you told wasn't it like $500,000?
So she gets $150,000 a month. So she gets over $1 million a year in alimony from Trump.
Damn, yeah.
From Donald Trump. That was like, and again, like, she ended up only having like 1 kid. That was like the most insane thing I thought. Like, Freddie got shit. So eventually, Freddie keeps trying to, like, he tries to get himself together. He tries to make a way for him to leave his father. But the moment Fred gets wind that he has a plane, if he tries to do anything on his own, he literally bashes him back down to the ground. He gives him utter shit. So he drinks himself to the point where he begs for help from his own father. And it eventually gets to that point where he is just beyond repair. He ended up having like heart problems. He had so many health problems. And finally, there were some things that were very clear that I did not quite understand. So Fred has money and he has loyalty to the banks. When Freddie tried to do anything on his own, like he tried to get a loan for a house when he was with his wife, they told him no. The banks denied him. And it doesn't make sense. How do you get denied from the banks when your father is so good with everyone and he's had decent credit? It's because his father probably got involved and told them no.
Yeah, probably.
His father literally did everything in their power.
Reverse nepotism, yo. Yeah, don't sell my son anything. Don't loan him anything. Don't do nothing for him. yeah, fuck him. He didn't want to fucking do what I wanted him to do in life, so now I'm gonna punish him.
Basically.
Fuck this, dude. Fuck this motherfucker.
And
So gross.
it's doing, like, he did terrible. So, another weird red flag to me, which I think they actually did kill his father at the final moment, like, actually just let him die. So, his health got really bad. Mary, who is, again, the writer of this book, that's Freddie's daughter, she tries to say goodbye to her father. Her father isn't there. She goes off to go to a boarding school because she was able to get, she convinced Fred to pay for boarding school. And while she was at boarding school, Fred died. And I know a lot of people talked about this where no one went with, or not Fred, Freddie died. And people talked, well, no one went with him to the hospital. And it was more than that. Like, they talked about how, like, Trump went to the movies. It wasn't just Trump. It was actually him and his sister Elizabeth that both went to the movies. And all they did was wait by the phone in what they called the library. They did not once, like, no one decided to go to the hospital with him. They were just waiting for that call for him to die. And it makes me wonder, because believe it or not, Fred had it good with the hospitals. Like, his wife goes in and out all the time because of her issues with her bones. And because of that, it made me honestly wonder if this was just a setup to let him finally die. Now,
Maybe.
Yeah, and so Mary is kind of at a point where she's more developed. She knows what's going on. Like, this isn't just historical information that she hears from siblings. So she ends up going back for the funeral. And again, Fred is like just this dick. Like, he's like, her father specifically said, when I die, I want to get cremated and all my ashes to be thrown in, like, this lake area where he went fishing. And Fred said no. He said he's going to be buried in the family plot. I don't care. No, that was his mistake. Those were his enjoyable things. No, he does not get to go there. No. So he ended up letting his son get buried in a place he never even wanted to get buried. In the end, like, Donald Trump and Fred Trump had, like, the balls to be like, maybe we should have just let him fly. Maybe we should just let him done what he wanted. Like, they are just disgusting people. So as time continues, believe it or not, Fred's mental decline starts to kick in.
Starts. Yeah, as if he wasn't already a fucking, fucking insane person.
Trump obviously goes bankrupt from his stupidity. And he ends up, like, making a deal with the banks where he has so much money he can spend every, like, month, and everything else is supposed to go to the banks. Which, by the way, the banks never hold him accountable for this. He never once falls accountability.
Dude, that's a perfect analogy for just Trump's life. Trump has never been held accountable for fucking anything, dude.
Mm-hmm. His father even put millions of dollars into him. They even tried to... He went to his casino and paid, like, millions of dollars of chips and left. And he ended up getting in serious trouble for that. Oh, and there's, like, by the way, there's, like, bigotry in this, too. Like, the thought that Trump isn't racist, like, him and his father have gotten sued for not renting to black people. His father decided to move out of where they lived because, get it, Italians moved into the neighborhood. They were complete bigots.
Italians, yeah. A lot of people seem to forget that you know, Italians were really Italians were really fucking hated in this country at one point, dude.
Yeah.
Almost as much as black people, although they've kind of risen to the status of the average white, you know.
Oh yeah. And the weirdest part with Fred too is his morals. I don't quite understand. So he did stand by, if you need to go to school or if you have health problems, you always stick by your family. He agreed to that. I thought it was the weirdest thing in the world. He will always stand by those two morals. However, Mary is going to college and her place gets raided. Now, she's actually getting some money from her father. Now, if Fred ever told his son about this, I highly doubt. But in a way to avoid taxes, because their family fucking hates taxes, he put some liquid funds into his kids that were supposed to be kind of inheritance type things, so they wouldn't get taxed for them. So that money ended up going to her and her brother. And her place gets raided, and at the time, computers were really much of a, like, someone could have. She had a typewriter for school. The typewriter gets stolen. And she asks for help, and Fred is like, no. And she ends up, like, telling her grandmother about it. And the grandmother's like, and she's like, no, people told me, no, you don't have to give me money. She's like, no, just take the money, you're fine. And Fred, like, goes and calls her and yells at her for, how dare you ask for money for something, for school. However, you should stand by someone going to school, but you shouldn't give them the tools to go to school. It was like a fucking, it was weird. So, Trump actually tries to plot against his siblings and tries to inherit everything from Fred. He gets with his lawyers and tries to get Fred to sign off on a piece of paper when he's not mentally there to try to inherit everything and cut all of his siblings out. Well, thankfully, Fred was a bit more lucid that day, and his wife red flagged it and told the siblings, and they found out, like, yeah, he was trying to cut them out of the entire thing.
So wait, how did he react? Was he, like, pissed at Trump? Because it sounds like Trump was always his favorite.
He wasn't really all the way mentally there. He yelled at the person that came by, but I don't think he ever actually yelled at Trump.
Huh.
As I said, Trump, like, believe it or not, through all of his mental decline, the only person he remembered was Donald. That was the only one he cared about, was Donald.
Well, that's why I almost wonder if he almost didn't want to just give everything to Trump. Like, oh, yes, my favorite son. Fuck all my other children. They've all failed me. But you boy, you have, you're a chip off the old block. You know, if I could, I'd give you my entire... You know, I bet this conversation actually happened. Yeah, you know, if I could, I'd give you my entire inheritance. But, you know... your siblings, you know, they'd never be able to make it without my money, you know, they'd never be able to take care of themselves otherwise, and I bet Trump heard that and was like, you know, I bet Dad wants to give me everything, you know, I bet he wouldn't even be pissed if I weaseled my way. What if I don't know, dude? Just fucking dick. Fuck Trump. What, like, as if he doesn't have enough money. As like, that's the thing that pisses me off about rich people, is it's never fucking enough from them. Because you know what? I bet Trump knew. Oh, he bankrupted several fucking things. He's gonna keep bankrupting shit. He's gonna keep being a failed fucking businessman. That's why he wanted all his father's money, so he'd never have to fucking work a day in his life, and he'd be able to sit on his ass and be fucking rich beyond his wildest dreams, and he'd just make spurious investments and hope some of them pan out, and when that didn't work out, it's like, oh well, I know what I can do. I can become president. Yeah, there we go. There's a fucking guarantee that I'll be fucking set for life. I'll achieve everlasting greatness, yo. My dad would be proud. I bet his dad would be proud. That pisses me off, yo.
Oh yeah, no, I bet he would actually be.
He'd be like, oh yes, my son, the president. You know, if I didn't raise him to be such a huge success, he never would have attained such glory. Fuck these people. They make me sick.
So what was it? So...
Frederick Christ Trump. So, what was Christ a middle name that was, like, passed...
Probably.
Passed down.
Like, I think, I'm not surprised because his mother, like, really liked him.
So his mother?
Yeah, his mother.
His mother's middle name was Christ. So.
Yeah, Elizabeth Christ.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never known people like they had to have been a really arrogant family, but oh yes, I shall name my child Christ. I bet her mother or father or someone was named Christ. I bet there was just a Christ Trump if you go far back enough.
Oh yeah. What was it? Okay, so time kind of continues a little bit. By the way, the siblings never hold Trump against this. That was, like, the most ironic thing is they don't, like, they still have, like, family gatherings.
Like, Trump, well, what a stinker, you know? That's Trump.
Basically.
That's, Donnie. You know, what an asshole. Yeah, he tried to steal all our money from him. Well, I guess since he's still the richest out of all of us, we better be nice to him.
Yeah, no, he's such a terrible person. And I love it because Mary, like, goes on to tell him about, like, gifts she's gotten from him. And, like, mind you, this guy comes in with, like, Lamborghinis, the most finest of everything. And, like, for a gift, he gave her, like, $12 worth of underwear. She got her, like, golden high heels. And there was one that was a rewrapped gift of a gift basket that they took out all the good stuff. Like, they were the cheapest of cheapest people.
Dude, that pisses me off, like, so fucking much. Like, it's bad enough that you're rich, like, to the point of, like, insanity. Like, you're so fucking disgustingly fucking, bloatedly fucking rich that you have more money than you could ever know what to do with. And then, you won't even be a generous fucking person. You won't even realize that, yeah, dude, I'm lucky to have all of this money, you know? Maybe I should be fucking generous. Nope. I'm gonna be a cheap motherfucker, too, dude. I'm gonna be a cheap fucking asshole and give someone $12 underwear for a fucking present as I drive up in my fucking Lamborghini with my fucking 12 fucking solid gold diamond encrusted Rolexes. Get the fuck out of here, Trump. Oh, and your $80,000. Try $100,000 suit. Yeah, try $800,000 suit, dude. Get the fuck out of here. What a scum fuck, dude. Being rich, cause you know what, guys? You know what? I'm gonna say this. If I was a rich motherfucker, I'd do my best to spread the wealth. You know? Obviously, you can't give all your money away. That's not smart, right? But just being a cheap asshole, especially to friends and family and people close to you, yeah, fuck that, dude. $12 run. Yeah, get the.
And I'm so sorry. Isn't that a little creepy? What happens if your uncle gave you underwear for like Christmas?
Yeah, that is kind of creepy too.
She didn't describe what they looked like because she only said the brand, but I just can imagine they're like, yeah.
It's just a weird thing, dude.
Yeah. And okay, so at this point, like, he's a bit of a scumfuck. And by the way, they treat Mary's mother like shit. Like, there was an expectation that she was supposed to go to the holidays with him, but after enough bitching from Trump's, like, wife and, like, his other brother's wife, they decided just to cut her off at one point, stop giving her money. And again, like, she barely got anything. Her husband ended up dead. She got fucked over. So, with this, Mary ends up, after she's, like, done with partial of her school, because she ends up going back and gets a PhD. Keep that in mind. She does go back later. Trump ends up, like, offering her a job for a short time. And you find out Trump's offering her a job not because he wants to help her, because an actual writer would bug him more. And an actual writer would need more assistance. And an actual writer would actually need you to sit down and talk with the person. So she was supposed to write a book about Trump, about what a grazing person he was. But the things that she kept noticing, like, all he did was go on vacations. All he did was talk about women. And Trump's the type of guy that he's the disser. Like, I don't know if you've seen these guys, but he'll be like, kind of go up to a woman and you're like, well, you're skinny enough to fuck. Like, type of things like that, where it's like almost
pickup artist bullshit.
Yeah, like, it's mean pickups. And that's all he did. He, like, never would talk about business. She never saw him once do anything like that. All he would do is brag. And keep in mind, like, it got to the point where she's like, his editor gets in there and, like, he has his editor fire her. And she's like, well, he said my writing is fine. He's like, he never read a single page. Like, the guy is fucking sleazy. So, finally, when Fred Trump goes, there's this huge debacle because he did not want Freddie to get anything, supposedly. Now, how true that really was, we do not know. Because it took a while for his mind to truly go that far. But he left nothing to Freddie, and they claimed that his father only had $300,000 worth of assets, and they claimed to her, like, they had their mother literally call her and tell her that Fred was penniless. He didn't have any money. And they claimed this. And her and her brother decided to fight a little bit to be like, no, we should have inherited something. I think it's messed up. And they went as far as cut their insurance, their health insurance. And her brother had, like, she had a nephew that had seizure problems, and they needed that health insurance. And they cut that from them. So when I played that video, I don't know how many people saw in the beginning, of her being like, there's no loyalty. Like, there was no loyalty to them. She had no loyalty from the Trump family. They treated her like shit. And they claimed that, like, Fred never liked that side of the family. Like, he hated the fact that she would wear pants and her brother wouldn't wear a tie. Like, petty little shit like that. And they end up suing. And they end up, like, deciding just to let go of the lawsuit after enough time because it wasn't worth it. And this, finally, Trump is kind of running for president. This kind of goes fast forward to that point. And an editor tries to contact her. And she just, like, thinks against it for a while, but she ends up contacting him, and they're like, can you get your old lawsuit paperwork? Well, they claimed that he only had, like, $300,000 of assets. So, when she goes back to look at the paperwork, where I guess the lawyers had some of the paperwork, it actually said it was close to $1 billion. Instead of telling her the truth. And when she left and she remember talking to the guy, he recited the same thing. He's like, well, your grandfather only had $300,000 of assets. He had close to $1 billion. And they kept going hard on her about how this is against Fred's will for trying to get money from him. This is against Fred's will. Fred didn't want this. Stop trying to cheat us. Stop. Meanwhile, so many years later, they go and sell his company for, I think it was like $800 million. It was close to $1 billion. It wasn't $1 billion. And that was the biggest reason why Fred Trump wanted a family to take over the business. So they didn't really care about Fred. All they cared about was money, and more money.
And Trump is still... That's still Trump to this day, dude. It's just money.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's all he cares about. And
you know, can I just point out, these fucking people that sit there being like, oh, Trump is such a great leader, he's gonna restore our country. Are you asleep? Are you people literally fucking asleep? Look at this man. Look at this man. Look what he does. Look what his family is all about. Look what they've always been about. I'm sorry, if you think they're not, like, you're insane.
When she got to meet Melania, like, Trump lies. Like, we all know Trump lies. But, like, when he, like, got introduced to her, like, Trump told this sway story about how he hired her after college because she became a drug addict. And she's like, I've never done drugs. What do you mean? And I went back to school and finished my degree. He didn't help me do anything. But he lied. And for anyone that thinks Trump is doing 3D chess, like, there's zero, like, what's very clear is Trump does these tactics because this is how he's gotten away with everything. He'll lie, he'll cheat, he'll over-exaggerate, and when he's wrong, he will say he's right. And with scenarios, like with the breaking point, the thing that broke Mary was the realization that he is dangerous to this country. Like, she talks about, because she did write about COVID, how he could have done the most basic shit to help this country.
There's a lot he could have done. There's a lot he could still do. I've been pointing out for a long time, the mask shit, that alone, that's a small thing. But if Trump was like, you know what? If Trump stood up as an example and like, you know what? We need to all wear masks. Be like me, you know, wear a mask. Like, his supporters would do it. They would blindly fucking just do it. But he doesn't use his power for good. He uses it to self-aggrandize himself.
Yeah, no, and she even went into exact details, like, oh, he could have secured masks for all the states. Instead, he had the states basically having to pay third-party vendors for masks they never even got. Like, he did one terrible mistake after the other. Same thing with Black Lives Matter. Like, he fucked that up badly. It was just one fumble after fumble after fumble, and she's like, I can't deal with this shit anymore. And it goes back to, again, like, there's, like, this expectation of loyalty, but he has no loyalty to anyone. Like, even his sister, the one that became a justice, like, she thought she can control Trump, and she couldn't. He does whatever the fuck he wants. And he doesn't live in this world of reality, because, believe it or not, Trump has never been punished. Ever since he was a kid, like, the closest he got was military school. And even then, when he became adult, Fred constantly bought him out of all of his mistakes. He never once got punished for anything. When he thinks he can get away with anything, it's because he's literally been living his life like that. And he's an idiot. Like, the guy couldn't do his own schoolwork. His sister did all of his homework. He paid people to go take the tests for him. He's no fucking genius. He just talks a good game. That was the only thing. And the biggest problem is people like Putin, people like dictators. They see his stupidity, but they see he talks a good game, and that's how you do it. If he can put on a good game, that's what sells. And that's, unfortunately, what sells to stupid people like his voter base.
Oh, yeah, because they see his confidence. They see the way he, like, oh, yes, I am right about it. Like, because this is the thing. Like that resonates with dumb people. Because they do the same shit. They're confidently wrong about so many things. They're confident in their stupidity themselves. So Trump's attitude of, I'm never wrong and no one can ever criticize me, that resonates with them. Mm-hmm. And Trump is someone, and here's the thing, Trump is someone who has literally never been told he was wrong. He's literally never been held accountable for anything. He's literally just lived, literally, in an echo chamber his entire fucking life, where his daddy told him, oh, you're perfect, you're amazing, you know, you can do anything, the fucking sun shines out of your fucking ass, and you're you know, you're God's chosen fucking leader for this country. I wouldn't be surprised if he was told that since he was young. Who fucking knows, dude? Who fucking knows what he was groomed for? Like this is...
I don't know, it's because he saw this, like, another big point she brought in, because I'm like, look at the book, was that Trump would actually get bored hearing people's story about their chaos from COVID. He would get bored. Because you know what? Fred ingrains in them that empathy is a weakness and you should not empathize with anyone.
Look, so, that's how you become rich. That's the only way to become as rich as someone like Fred Trump. You have to put empathy aside. You have to say, I don't care about my fellow people. I care about me. I care about me and my family and becoming successful, and everyone else can go fuck themselves. It's literally a prerequisite to that.
Mm-hmm. And like, I think the most... So... They did try to cut Mary completely out of the history of the Trump family. Like, believe it or not, when, let me pull her back up again.
You gotta love revisionist history, yo.
Oh, yeah. Marianne, her grandmother died. They went out of their way to not just exit out Freddie, her father, but her and her brother out of the obituary. They tried to they excluded her from going to the funeral, and they acted like they did not exist. That was how far that went. So, again, there is zero evidence that he's intelligent. Like, and I was kind of interested because I was like looking at some of these comments from some of these people, and they're still giving him like too much credit. Like, there's so much credit for like him knowing what he's doing. He really doesn't. He just does. He's reactionary and doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
No,
now,
like I've said for a long time, all Trump does is listen to his advisors. Whoever tells him, whoever comes into his office and gives him the most impressive sounding speech that sounds like they know what they're talking about the most, that's who he's going to listen to. And then he's going to make it sound like it was his idea.
Basically. And they're fine with that. That's the funny thing. They're fine with that.
No, of course, because Trump is is basically a puppet at this point. He's good for like he creates a good image for the Republican Party that people are able to get behind, but they don't want him to lead. He's just a useful idiot to these people. But the problem is he's more than just a useful idiot, he's also dangerous. We've seen like someone like this who can't admit that they're wrong. Like I don't want to imagine if we were in an actual fucking world war right now. Okay? I don't want to imagine what Trump would do.
So, at the end, she just basically does ask him that he needs to resign. He cannot be president. She does.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's gonna do that. He's gonna listen to that.
No, she does admit that he probably will not go very. He'll probably go kicking and screaming. Now, the last thing I want to point out to everyone, which I've not seen any of these, and I want someone to really badly do this, and I'll do it too. So the biggest hurt Trump had was when Freddie dumped that, I don't know if people remember from the beginning of the stream, dumped a thing of mashed potatoes on Trump's head, or Donald Trump's head, and that to this day still bugs him. To this day, he still hates the fact that Freddie, a lesser of him, humiliated him so badly.
Dude, we need mashed potato memes, yo.
Yeah, so if you want to try to trigger Donald, honestly, whoever has the time and energy, make, like, Photoshop mashed potatoes on Donald's head. And I'm actually curious, because, like, again, people have bought the book, over 1 million people have not seen the memes yet, and I'm like, if you get enough memes going, you will piss him off horrendously. Because to this day, that still bugs him. To this day.
Yeah, dude. Send Donald Trump mashed potato memes, yo.
That's kind of my last note. I do advise people to read the book. There was so much more that I, like, missed, like, did not mention. There was so much that, like, Fred has done to his kids to destroy them. Do you have any last says?
No, well, do you want to ask the chat what they think before we go?
Yeah, chat.
Yo, you know what? Let's shout out everyone in the chat for a minute. Actually, you know what we should do? We should shout out our patrons.
Yeah.
We should shout out our patrons, and while we do that, you guys can comment in the chat if you have any thoughts, any questions, any final words about this.
I can just open a new page. There you go. Why is it capitalized?
It was close. There we go. Yeah. So here, let's shout out our patrons, because we got 6 patrons now, dude. Here we go. So shout out to our patrons: Rose Black, Hyun, Chelsea, Straight Up, Canadian Fura, and Mises, yo. The fucking the fucking dude. I'm actually thinking of doing a thing. Well, we're gonna shout out the patrons, but we're gonna shout out like maybe like the 20 newest patrons.
Yeah.
As it grows, yeah. We'll and so if you guys join the patron, you'll get shouted out at the end of the late night heathens, and a bunch of fucking perks, a bunch of early content, and a private show coming at the end of this month where we're gonna get drunk and it's gonna be fun. Yo, what up, Rose Black? Our number 1 patron, yo. Why did Fred hate his kids so much? I don't think he hated his kids. I think Fred had his kids for one very specific reason: to be his legacy. Fred Trump wanted to be. He wanted to go down in history. He wanted to be successful, and he wanted to be well known. So he wanted his kids to carry on that legacy. And when Freddie, especially, who, by the way, like, you can tell there's reasons why. It's Freddie that he really hated.
Yeah, that he hated anyone who was Freddie.
Right. And the reason, I think there's multiple reasons for that. First of all, he was his firstborn son, which means he probably had the most expectation on him. He was named after his father. He probably, I wouldn't be surprised, someone like this probably wanted to call his son, like, Frederick Trump II. Frederick Christ Trump II, and he wanted him to be what he was. He wanted him to, and when he wasn't, he was disappointed. He was angry and thought, okay, maybe the next son. No, he's not quite what I wanted either. Okay.
Well, actually, no, yeah, you're right. Next son was a 50-50. Wait, no, because the second son was Donald. He had a third son that was...
I thought Donald was the youngest.
No, Donald's,
You said Donald was the youngest.
No, I corrected myself. Do you not remember?
Oh.
Yeah. I know I said that beginning. I think he's the middle, actually.
Oh, okay. He's the middle. Oh, well, that makes perfect sense, dude. The middle child is always the fucking worst, dude. Yeah. So, yeah, dude, I don't know. It's clear. So, yeah, it's clear he wanted Freddie to be him. He wanted him to be just like him, and when he wasn't, he was like, okay, well, fuck him. Yeah. We'll prop up Donald instead.
Yeah, and if he had, like, a time machine, because he didn't like kids. He wanted them to be adults and be ready for business. Like, he didn't like the kids. He thought the kids were annoying, and he hated when kids played around and everything. Like, that was not his thing. He would rather have businessmen. And the other reason why he hated Freddie ironically, it was because Freddie did enjoy little things on the side, which is ironic because all Donald does is golf. And he, like, there's, like, this scene in the book where there was the most awkward time she's ever seen Fred was when he was in a golf outfit, because all he does is wear the suits. That's what he always wears. He does not like anything lavish, but he knew on the golf field is how you can make support with politicians and higher ups. So what did he do? He joined him on that.
Yeah. Fred Trump reminds me of my grandfather. Yeah, I think he reminds a lot of people of their grandfather, dude. President Potato Head. Oh shit, we're being tracked, yo. No.
Oh my god.
The government's coming after us for talking shit about the president. But yeah, President Potato Head. Yeah, dude. Hashtag President Potato Head.
Yeah. No, as I said, if you guys want to piss him off, like, to this day, that still bugs him. And, like, she made a notable note in it when she got to go to the White House that one of her siblings brought it up, and he, like, cringed and, like, had this hatred.
Dude, I want to see, like, I want to see it trending, dude. President Potato Head. I wish, dude. I wish we had that kind of reach, dude, because we just, like, yeah, make the potato memes, just Photoshop mashed potatoes on Trump's head. Dude, you know what would be even funnier? Instead of hair, dude, get, like, Photoshop, like, his hair away and turn it into mashed potatoes.
I'm going to try to Photoshop myself. If anyone else wants to join me, you should. Let's piss off Trump. Let's make him...
Oh my god. Maybe let's not piss him off too much, dude. We don't want to get in trouble, dude. We don't want to get investigated by the Orange Man, dude. Agent Orange, dude. My grandpa's personality was basically Fred Trump. Yeah, dude. And by the way, so I want to say something about this before we end, because that... Sorry, guys. I ordered a new cord for the mic. It's coming. I apologize for that. Anyway, yeah, I just want to say something about this, because there's something I really appreciate about this book, and there's something that I think it's not done enough. There's a lot of these fucking family stories that we've never heard, dude, of people, a lot of people that are prominent people that we know of, that we don't know their backstory. We don't know, what kind of shit has gone on behind the scenes, and so I think it's absolutely brave and amazing, and it needs to happen more when people like this, you know, come forward and tell these stories, you know, where like that. Because here's the thing, a lot of people think that they can just get away with whatever they want as long, hey, oh well, I only did this to a member of my family, I only said this to someone in my, you know, as long as no one outside ever finds out, you know. And they get away with this kind of shitty behavior. They do it. They hurt the ones they love, and people end up growing up with all kinds of fucking demons, all kinds of fucking like traumas and complexes that end up affecting their own children, and the cycle fucking continues, and it never fucking stops. So props to Mary fucking Trump. Props to Mary Trump for coming out and speaking out against her family and telling her story, and I hope more people do this. I absolutely hope more people do this, because the more people that are called out, the less this kind of behavior will be normalized, because trust me, this is not an anomaly. This is the way conservatives act in general, honestly. Like, maybe not always to the extent of this person, but when it comes to, like, you know, this conservative drive to, like, be successful and make money, and you know, that's all they really fucking care about. They don't care about their children. They don't care about their family. Abuses happen, and are just written off as, whatever. Yeah, what? Hey, that's just dad. That's just who he is. And it needs to stop.
It does. No, I agree. I do advise, if you're not a big reader, I mean, there's an Audible version. She does read her own Audible version. I don't know how good it is. My mom's going to listen to that one. But I read the entire book, and it was totally worth it. I learned a lot. And you do develop this sense of, like, okay, when Trump says something, you can tell. Like, even, like, today, when I was looking at a news article where they were talking about the virus, and he was talking to the reporter, like, it was so clear that he was like, it'll get better eventually. They're like, but right now it's not, it's getting worse. He's like, it will get better though. But it's not right now. It will. Therefore, it's going to get better. And it's like, he does not live in a world of reality, and he is by far the most dangerous president, and we need to get him out.
Yeah. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream for as long as it'll be allowed to remain up on YouTube before our channels mysteriously disappear.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
yeah, that's it.
That's it. All right. Well,
thanks guys for watching.
Actually-
Share, like, blah.
actually, dude, what if Trump went to prison for the rest of his life and all he was allowed to eat was mashed potatoes? Dude, that would be beautiful.
Oh god.
That would be beautiful, dude.
Oh god.
And then you like put up a poster in his fucking prison cell, not one that he can tear down either, like some laminated, or like put it like behind glass, like in the wall, and just like put it up there and force him to stare at it, just him with mashed potato on his head, and that's all he's allowed to eat. And we say, hey, what's up, President Mashed Potato? No, what was it? President Potato Head. Yeah, what up, President Potato Head? Isn't it funny, dude? Okay. yeah, dude. Again, this stream, again, if you enjoyed this, share it, but don't share it too far, okay? We want it to actually stay up. I'm kidding. If you guys enjoyed this, share it. Become a Patreon. Patron. Become a patron. All that dope shit. It really helps us out. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Bye.